All right. Manchester United went ahead to sack their manager. That is Ruben Amorim, and that was on Monday. And by the time they sacked him, United had to prepare for the game today. And they're going to be playing away at Burnley. So that meant that there needed to be someone else to come in through and obviously put in a very huge shift to see to it that United is managed through this game. And guess what happened? The side of Manchester United went ahead to really get in a guy known as Fletcher, who was managing the under-21s, to put in a very huge shift altogether. And he is the guy responsible for everything that's really happening at the club of Manchester United. So he's going to be the man in charge of this game of football. And that's why we're here to obviously bring you what we call the match preview today ahead of that game. Smash like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as don't miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rock and David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you're watching us from. Continue to subscribe so as to see to it that all really goes on well as planned, and continue to subscribe as I've told you, because we are left with like 10 subscribers to hit 22,000 subscribers in here onto our beautiful channel. So I'm really intrigued to obviously be talking to you guys, because it's always a pleasure, sharing thoughts with you, especially on a live stream. And the live stream really enables us to really get that engagement in there for you. And Nachitende, thank you very much, for obviously watching in through, and you're always a regular on this channel. And thank you for obviously popping by to hear what my thoughts are about how Darren Fletcher will obviously line up into this beautiful game of football. And as you see the title, we are having people returning. And who are those? We are really having Bruno Fernandes back and Kobbie Maino. Everyone is asking him or herself, why is it that after the manager got sacked, the players that were said to be injured returned? That is the huge question that we're really having in here. You get? And I don't know how you guys will obviously come on it, but I'm 100% also skeptical about it. But Kobbie Maino is back, and then the other player called Bruno Fernandes is also back. But let's head into the game, because if we are to really get into the news, it will obviously take us lots of time. Now, let's get into the team news. Into the match preview, not the team news. Burnley is 19th. Man United is 6th. Then 12 points is what Burnley have collected in this entire 20 games they've gone ahead to play. And Man United is having 31 points. Burnley has scored 20 goals. Man United has scored 34 goals. Then Burnley has conceded 39 goals. United has conceded 30. We are really conceding lots of goals. 123 shots by Burnley. 62 of those have been on target, and 61 of those have been off target. 57 shots have been blocked by the opponents that Burnley has gone ahead to obviously face. Then United, 232 shots. 109 shots on target, 123 shots off target, and 89 shots have been blocked by the opponents that Man United has gone ahead to face in there. Passing accuracy for Burnley, 77.96, and for Man United, the passing accuracy has been 81.7, meaning that United averages 81.78, passing accuracy per game. 2 points gained from losing positions by Burnley. Man United has gained 7. 3 points dropped from a winning position. That is it. And then 12 points have been dropped by Manchester United when we are in the winning position in there. Now, Burnley played Brighton. Brighton beat Burnley by 2-0. And our recent game we played away, we drew with Leeds 1-1. In the recent previous meetings, we've played 92 games with Burnley. Burnley has won 30. United has won 43. And we do have 19 draws in there. Now, When we go to all competitions, United on the 30th of August 2025, we beat Burnley by 3-2 at Old Trafford. You remember that encounter really very well. Then on the 27th of April 2024, we drew 1-1 with Burnley. And then 2023, on the 23rd September, we beat Burnley by 1-0. That is when we last played away from their home. That is United for you. From there, we obviously head into the team news as we head into this game of football. And for Burnley, they're really having very many absentees. Josh Cullen, knee injury. Zeki Amodin, knee injury. Connor Roberts, calf injury. Akzo Twanzebe, AFCON. I think he was playing for DR Congo, and DR Congo got knocked out by a team known as Algeria. Hanbo Mebri at AFCON. I think Tunisia really went ahead, obviously, get knocked out. He might be even available for today's game, if at all he's really very serious. Then Foster, AFCON. Joe Worrell, muscle injury. Zian Fleming, muscle injury. And Jordan Bayer is having a hamstring injury. Burnley are hoping for the return of the 23-year-old absentee against Brighton in there for you. And Jaden Anthony has also scored 4 times during the 2025-2026 season for the side of Burnley in there. For Manchester United, obviously the absentees are Matthias de Ligt in there with what we call a back injury. Harry Maguire is having a thigh injury. Brian Mbeumo at AFCON. Amadi Diallo at AFCON, Mazraoui at AFCON. Those are the players that won't be in action as Man United really takes on Burnley today. Now, we head into the probable starting 11 for the club of Manchester United. And I'm here to really answer the question. I'm confused about how United will line up with Brian and Ahmad. I'll obviously tell you that very well. We head into the probable starting 11 for the club of Manchester United, and I think the system will be a 4-2-3-1. Though reports indicate that while managing the under-21s, Darren Fletcher has been playing a 4-4-2, and he's really obsessed with that system. And we've gone ahead to see teams trying to really bring it back. Man City tried it out, but they never went ahead to get the perfect results, and the manager went ahead to abstain from it. But Aston Villa is one of those teams that has gone ahead to play that 4-4-2 system, especially when they're really having all their players available. You know, they've gone ahead to put out a very huge shift in there for you. So I just can't wait and see how things will pan out in there for you. But I see a 4-2-3-1 system coming in that together. Now, let's get to the turf and see how things will pan out. Goalkeeper, I think it's going to be Senny Lemons. He's going to be maintaining his position in there for you. And the right back, I see Diego Dallo coming in through to play as the right back for the club of Manchester United. Obviously, we are getting back to a back 4. Left back, it's going to be Luke Shaw. That is it. Into the mix representing for the club of Manchester United. We know that when he's fully fit, I tell you, he's one of the best left backs in the world. You get? And in the central defense, we started off with the right-sided centre-back. I see Lenny Yoro coming into the mix. I don't think that Darren Fletcher will buy the idea of Ruben Amorim of playing close to 3 or 2 defenders who are really left-footed, yet you have a right-footed defender. I think he will go in for Lenny Yoro as a right-sided centre-back, and a left-sided centre-back will be having Lisandro Martinez in there for you. So that's how I think United will look in its back 5. You get? Now, in the double pivot, I think United will see Kobbie Maino coming in through to put in a very huge shift. Casemiro in there alongside Kobbie Maino. That is it. Now, for Kobbie Maino's case, I tell you, he's a player that I think has been put out of action for some time. But I've always gone ahead to complain. I've not gone ahead to see Real Madrid say, we are having a player that every club wants that is really big, almost in our ilk, and we bench him? No way. Even when there are misunderstandings between the manager and the player, they are solved and those players really get back on the pitch. We've seen it with Rodrigo throughout the entire preseason. FIFA Club World Cup. The guy didn't even kick a ball, I think, for Real Madrid. And the manager wanted him out. But because Florentino Perez knows the quality of the player, you get? He told Alonso, I want the player on the field of play. And Alonso buried the hatchet with Rodrigo and see what Rodrigo is doing for the club of Real Madrid this season. We can also go to a guy known as Vinicius Jr. They've been having wrangles with the manager, but they sorted them for the good of the club. You get? You can't lose a player that is really a demand or a desire for other teams that you're competing with, and you come out here and you say that he doesn't tick the boxes that you want. Which kind of system are you playing? If you cannot get Kobbie Maino into your team, you are the problem then. Because teams that have gone ahead to show that they really look good, you understand, even more better than you, need him. Now, you can't come out and tell me that you are benching Kobbie Maino when Pep Guardiola needs Kobbie Maino. You get? They even wanted to sign him before he went ahead and obviously signed a contract, all a professional contract for the club of Manchester United. You get? Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, Napoli, Juventus. Now, Barcelona, you tell me that you cannot find a place for the guy in your team. And the fact is, this is where we get to know that there were lies that this manager was trading. You get? And pressure of Kobbie Maino was over his head. And it was like, I'm not going to play him. You get? I'm not going to play him. We all thought that Kobbie Maino would get into the team after the departure of Bryan Mbeumo, Amadi Diallo, and Mazaraoui. And that was accompanied by a suspension of Casemiro, and Kobbie Maino never got into the starting 11. Then even Bruno Fernandes went ahead to get injured, and the guy never went ahead to get the starting 11 for the club of Manchester United. And what other situation or scenario explains hate more than that? I saw Erik ten Hag falling out with players, but on what we call on principle. Ten Hag fell out with Ronaldo on principle. You get? He fell out with Jadon Sancho on principle, and he stood on his word. You get? So, I don't want to see the club of Manchester United come out here. Sorry, I don't want to see people come out and say that Ruben Amorim, blah, 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 what? He made wrong decisions. You get? That midfield of Man United really lacked what we call a connector from the defense to the attacking midfield. And there is no player who can act as a better connector at the club of Manchester United than Kobbie Maino. That is it. You get? And he really had a war with this lad. But I warned him and I told him, Sir Jim Ratcliffe came out and said he doesn't want the next Jude Bellingham. Sorry, he doesn't want to get in a Bellingham. He's looking for next Jude Bellingham. And if you're being asked, who is one of those prospect field players in the midfield? Kobbie Maino. It's like we're telling Barcelona that Lamine Yamal shouldn't be on the pitch. Our Lamine Yamal is Kobbie Maino. That is it. So, if you're not putting Lamine Yamal on the pitch, you're going to get sacked. That is a sure deal. Barcelona will sack you. You get? So Kobbie Maino has not been injured, and that means Ruben Amorim sold us a lie. You get? He sold us a fat lie that he was really injured. I think we are playing our against which team when he came out and obviously said the guy is injured. You get? Before we played Newcastle, there is the game we played. He came out and said I think we are playing Aston Villa, right? because that's the game that saw Bruno Fernandes get injured. And it was like Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Maino are not going to be representing for the game of Newcastle. Imagine, he knew to it that the player was really fit. And I think for Kobbie Maino's case, it was like, even if I keep myself in the squad of Manchester United, I'm not going to be played. I think he was preparing for his exit. You get? But no sooner had Amorim left than Kobbie Maino came in through to obviously represent. And you can do everything at Manchester United, but you cannot really come out and play with the DNA of Manchester United. If you know Manchester United, what best describes Manchester United are players like Kobbie Maino, I tell you. You get? And you can come and obviously you can come obviously and really mess out with people like those, but you cannot mess with Kobbie Maino. And you cannot be the reason as to why you're really getting rid of academy grown players. And trying to make me think you can't do things that this guy did. You know? Do you know what pissed me off? After understanding, because for me, I knew to it that Kobbie Maino was not injured. If you watched my live video I did when Amorim was sacked, I told you that Kobbie Maino is not injured. I knew that Kobbie Maino was not injured, and when I saw him get on the Fletcher twins on the pitch, sheer laces, you know, the other one is called Matanto, I'm like, what's wrong with this dude? What's wrong with this dude? What's wrong with him? You get? Something was wrong, and it needed to be addressed immediately. And sometimes there is no club that picks, when you look at a player the caliber of Kobbie Maino, the club wouldn't sacrifice the career of Kobbie Maino, you know, for Ruben Amorim. You get? So some decisions have to be made right, you know. Do you know how embarrassing and annoying it would have gone ahead to be if Manchester United went ahead to sell Kobbie Maino and he turned out to be a world-class player? You get? And we've gone ahead to make these mistakes before. Like, look at Mason Greenwood. I understand his situation and what he did. But the guy is a monster. He's a monster. If you watched him play at Marseille, he's a monster. You get? For Marcus Rashford, I think he's not an example that I really want to make because he really looked at Manchester United. When he was at Manchester United, he looked like he never wanted to play for us and he wanted to be out. But for Kobbie Maino, he still wanted to be here. And the professionalism that he went ahead to obviously showcase was really was really very, 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 very good because he really did all what he did and he kept calm, you know. And I think all this, it came in through after his brother wore that t-shirt, that free Kobbie Maino. And I think the manager was like, you are not going to kick the ball. I'm not going to get into my match squad again. You get? So a lot of such things will obviously come out to the public domain. But some of us just read things between the line and really get to know that Kobbie Maino is not injured. Now, the other player is Bruno Fernandes, central attacking midfield. That's where I think is obviously going to be featuring. Out for some games, but he returns to obviously lead the club as its captain in there. Then right attacking midfield, I think it's going to be Mason Mount. That is it. It's going to be Mason Mount. Left attacking midfield, I see Cunha, and leading the line, it's going to be Benjamin Šeško. That's how I think United will line up today. But I won't be shocked if at all he starts Kobbie Maino on the bench and obviously gets in Ugarte to play alongside Casemiro. But I 100% don't agree with playing with Ugarte and playing Ugarte and Casemiro in the double pivot when you're playing against Burnley. A team placed 19th. Why do you go to their stadium and really respect them? I think it's the kind of game where you have to have Casemiro there, Kobbie Maino, and Bruno Fernandes. Let's go attack them because we can really do the needful and really beat them. With the variable of Lisandro Martinez and the speed merchant in Lenny Yoro and Luke Shaw and Dallo, I think we can play a perfect high line at the Turf Moor. That is it. We can execute what we call a high line, a tough more that can really get us better results as a club of Manchester United. That's what is running in my mind. I don't know what your thoughts are about the lineup, guys. I'm really waiting to see how you guys are really thinking about that lineup, but I think that's what we should take at the tough more, according to me. I don't know what your thoughts are about it, but I'm 100% sure that it's what we should be taking there. You know, because if you're having Cunha, I think if you want to get the best of Cunha, the best out of Cunha, play him as a left attacking midfielder. That is it. Centrally, I think he's lacking. Now, his best attribute is carrying the ball and taking off opponents, right? Now, where can he really do that from? As a left attacking midfielder, I think that's where he can obviously express himself better as a player for the club of Manchester United. And I know he's going to enjoy himself. And the moment social deal is announced that he's really official, Cunha is obviously going to be one of the big beneficiaries of really getting in a man known as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. As Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a counter-attacking kind of manager. And who will benefit that? Who will benefit from that? It's obviously going to be a man known as Matthias Cunha and Brian Mbeumo especially. I have a question coming in through from Nachitende. I'll obviously respond to it after this, but I think these players are obviously going to be enjoying themselves, the speed merchants, because that's what that's what Solskjaer loves most. And most of the assists of Bruno Fernandes have gone ahead, obviously coming through when our team is really hitting others on the break. You understand? So that is my probable starting 11 for the club of Manchester United. Dalo, I think this is the system that really best best suits a man known as Dalo in creativity. We know what Dalo is when he's being played as a right back, you know, and Luke Shaw also as a left back. His efforts are really on. In there. Now, let's get to the team of Burnley. Dubravka in goal, once at Manchester United. Walker, you know him very well. You know Walker very well. Kyle Walker, who used to play at Man City. Eduka, Esteve and Perez. Back four. Igor Chukwe, Florentino and Laurent. Midfield three. Then Edwards, Anthony. Wide forwards as Broja Ahmad leads the line. You remember Broja very well. He was at a side known as Chelsea, loaned to Southampton. So he was at Southampton, scored very many goals. Chelsea loaned him at Southampton, scored even 16 goals. Then he got back at Chelsea, got a very bad injury, and he really saw himself get into a mess. And I think they sold him at Burnley in there. Then let's get to the match stats before I get into these are the match facts before I get into what we call my prediction. And I really attend to you guys in the live chat in there. I'm coming. Don't think that I've gone ahead to abandon you, but I just want to get this business out of the way. Then I come to you and I attend to you in person. First and foremost, Burnley won their first ever Premier League game against Man United in August 2009. However, they are winless in 8 against them since. Since then, 2 draws and 6 losses, scoring just 1 goal in the process, giving United a very huge boost ahead of this game. Though they've lost just 2 of their 19 Premier League games against Burnley, Manchester United are looking to secure the Premier League double over them for just the second time after 2020-2021. So, we last got a double from Burnley in the season of 2020-2021, you know. But this time round, we beat them 3-2 at Old Trafford, and we want to obviously get another win against them. Just 2 of Burnley's 14 Premier League games against Man United have come in home games, 14%, the lowest share of any side to net 10 plus against another in the competition. That is it. So you've had it well. Now, the other one is Burnley picked up 7 points in their first 4 Premier League home games this season. They've picked up 7 points in their first 4 home Premier League games. 2 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss, but have since won just 1 point in their last 6. 1 draw, 5 losses, a 0-0 draw against Everton on match day 18. So they're really doing bad at home. The other match fact is Man United have lost just 2 of their last 16 Premier League matches against sides starting the day in the relegation zone. Won 23, drawn 11, though they've only kept 1 clean sheet in 9 games against sides placed 18th or lower under Ruben Amorim. So you've had it very well. The other one is Burnley remain winless in their last 11 Premier League games, 2 draws and 9 losses, only going longer without win with a single top flight season on 4 previous occasions, most recently from November 2009 to January 2010, and that was 12 matches. Manchester United haven't kept a clean sheet in any of their last 15 Premier League games away. 28 goals conceded since a 3-0 win at Leicester in March. They last had a longer run without any away league shutout between September 1977 and April 1978 in 17 games. So guys, we need to keep a clean sheet in here. Burnley Scott Parker has lost 65% of his home Premier League matches as manager, 24/27, the highest losing percentage of any manager to take charge of 25 plus home games in the Premier League history. So he needs to work onto that and see to it that he really gets into the better space. Burnley managed 5 shots in their last game against Brighton, the 6th time they've had 5 or fewer in the Premier League game this season, at least 2 more than the other side. So that is another big boost for them. They really have shots, and we wait and see. Man United's Matheus Cunha has scored 3 goals in his last 5 Premier League appearances, as many as his previous 20 beforehand. Cunha has 9 goal involvements, 5 goals, 4 assists in his last 8 league games against newly promoted opponents. So Cunha likes to score against newly promoted opponents. You understand? So that's Cunha for you. And I tell you what, he is really going to enjoy himself in systems like this, because centrally, like playing as a number 10 in there for you, I think that doesn't really get the best out of him. But this system will get the best out of him. Now, let's get to my prediction. 3-0, Man United. That's my prediction. 3-0. You anticipate the new manager bounce. Obviously, that has to be there, and I have to give it respect. And even United getting back to a system that best suits these players, of a back 4, a double pivot, Bruno Fernandes thriving in such a system, and obviously having Cunha in a light form. So, Nachitende Esther, I'm confused about how United will line up with Bryan Mbeumo and Ahmad. You get? Ahmad was a player that was brought in under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You remember? £35 million from Atlanta, By that time, I think he was 18 years, right? And he's one of those managers that never even went ahead to use him a lot. I think he brought him on and scored against AC Milan, but he got more playing time. I think the manager that really gave him ample playing time was Erik ten Hag. Then Amorim went ahead, obviously, come and really play him as a right wing back. A decision that for me was really very bad, because I think it's Bryan Mbeumo that was supposed to be played as a right wing back and Ahmad as a 10, because Ahmad has more minerals, to his game in the number 10 position than Bryan Mbeumo. You understand? But I think they can line up in the same team, like you've told me here, that he will play with the false 9, that is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, meaning that Solskjaer can be like, let Bryan Mbeumo be played as a false number 9 and let Amadi Diallo be played as a right attacking midfielder. And we will wait and see. All else, one will have to play off the bench, depending on who is really in huge form. And if I'm the manager, I really tell you what, the best player gets on the pitch. You get? That is it. But I know Ahmad is better than Brian Mbeumo. That is it. Ahmad is better than Brian Mbeumo. Then we do have Napari Musa. Man United will win by 2-1. All right. Nachitende says, I'm sure they can play together in the same lineup. Yes, they can, depending on the system. Then Snowboy, we should win this one today. Obviously, I've gone in for 3-0 win for the club of Manchester United. Esther, Kobbie Maino has not been injured. Yeah, yes, he hasn't been injured. He hasn't been injured. After his brother put on that shirt, the manager threw the lad under the bus as if Kobbie Maino was responsible for his brother's actions. Then David Zimula, we want more goals than normal. Yeah, we need to score goals, and I think that's why I've gone in for 3-0 win for the club of Manchester United in there. Hassan Bisegera, the best way of defending is by attacking. That's what we lacked in Amorim's system. You get? All right. I think we used to attack. We've gone ahead to score by the very many goals, because I don't think that there are very many teams in the Premier League that have gone ahead to score 30 goals plus. But the problem was that defensive bit of it all, because the manager had sacrificed Bruno Fernandes as a number 8 other than playing him as a number 10 and really getting in Kobbie Maino to play in that position alongside Casemiro in there. Ole will play a false number 9. I think with Benjamin Šeško and Joshua Zirkzee, it will be hard for him to execute it that way. But at certain points, he can really play false number 9. But he's a man who used to be a striker. I think would love to play with the number 9, because he knows the importance of a number 9 in his system in there. Bisegera, we need more goals, all right, for better results here. Isaac Sakala, so already, you mean Kobbie is fit, very fit, and he was not injured. David Zimula, Kobbie is more than fit, I'm sure. Yes, he's fit. Bijiro Prita, Man United will win with a margin of 2 goals since Amorim left, all right. Zimla says, we want 5-0, all right. The appetite is really high and huge. Are we bringing in new players this January? I doubt. Because if United is having most of its players back and free from injury and sorting that double pivot problem by giving Kobbie Maino time, I think United won't need to bring in any player. They don't need to bring in any player. If Kobbie Maino can be integrated to the team, Manuel Ugarte also getting in minutes, I think we can fly through the season and even accomplish in the top 4 positions, because I know those guys can do the job provided they are in a better system and the manager really having some good tactics to really read the opponents. And while on the pitch, he really goes ahead to go read the game very well and is like, this is what is missing in my team and let me go for it. You understand? So, what else? If all these players are viable between Ahmad and Mbeumo, who will play the right wing? The best performer will play the right wing. And the beauty is that Ahmad is really a versatile player. You can even play him as a 10. You can play him as a 10. So I think this is what you would want to be having at your team. Having headache for 2 players that you think should all be on the pitch, but there is only 1 slot. That means United will obviously find themselves in a position of really having a selection headache, But to me, the best player gets onto the pitch. But with how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer really wants to play, I think Brian Mbeumo will have a very huge chance to get in there as the manager, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, will be wanting counter-attacking football. That is in his DNA. And he will be having Cunha off the left, Mbeumo off the right. But I think Ahmad will put out a performance that will send a message to Solskjaer that I want to command a starting place into that team. All I believe, Ahmad is a better player than Bryan Mbeumo. That is it. You know, his skill set is really out of this world. He's unselfish. I've gone ahead to see Bryan Mbeumo every time he really runs. 90% of the times, he thinks of shooting at goal. You know, and the problem we're having as Manchester United will be if Cunha and Mbeumo behave the same, will our centre forward be having service? Meaning that we'll be relying onto Bruno Fernandes, Luke Shaw, and Dalot. You know, that is it. But all in all, Man United is the team to play. Sorry, Burnley is the team to play tonight, and we wait what the results will be. But all in all, Ahmad will really put there a lot to really see United get to where they need to be and him getting to the starting 11 for the club of Manchester United. We need the guys. For me, that squad is okay. You get? That squad is okay. You get? The problem with Amorim was we looked like we are shite of players because of his system. We needed how many defenders for us to survive? You get? Every game you need to be deploying 5. You know, 5 defenders. But in this game, you play 4. You get? Meaning that you are reserving 1. That is it. And I think all will be great for the side of Manchester United in there. And we're getting in those points as a club. David Zimla will request for team news about players who have traveled to play tonight. Let me check here. Man United traveling squad to Burnley. All right. The official website of Manchester United. All what they gave us is the team news, meaning that apart from Harry Maguire and Matthias de Ligt, and this was really put out on the 6th, that was yesterday. You get? So we wait and see. But obviously, Zex is there, Mount is there, and very many others are into the squad of Manchester United. You understand? So wait and see how that will pan out. I think we've gone ahead to come to the start of the end of the video, and I've loved all your views in here. But we wait to see how things will pan out for the club of Manchester United. Our confidence kicked out by beloved manager. I'm proud we can again talk of Kobbie. All right. Yeah, when the player is good, certain things, you know, you have to do certain things. I've seen managers, you know, being egoistic is good, but when you're really putting out results. But if every person is pointing at a certain player that you need to put in your team, and you're like, he has to obviously approve me that he's better than Bruno Fernandes. Now, even Bruno Fernandes was playing worse in that position. That is not his best position. You can't really get one of the best number 10s in the world and play him in the number 8 position. That is really very bad. And that was his biggest undoing as a manager, that went ahead to do the club of Manchester United. Now, that is it. My prediction is 3-0 for the club of Manchester United, right? So, go ahead and really subscribe if you're watching us for the very first time, and endeavor to do the needful and obviously put out the notification bell. That will enable you to get notified every time I upload a video onto this channel. Lastly, Bijira says, Amorim had a problem. How can you play 5 defenders against Wolves and you think of winning? Obviously, that's why I've told you we have to go strong, and let's go and attack this team of Burnley. Let's beat them hands down, and the rest will be history for the club of Manchester, for us who are the fans. I love the manager, but he failed himself. I was one of those who defended him that I don't want us to obviously sack a manager and bring another one. But looks like he embarked on a self-sacking mission. I'm out. See you later. Another recording is dropping very, very soon. We out.